We are really thrilled to have this conversation with Stephen Sears. He has written a book called, it's so good, In the Beginning, a Consideration of Genesis. So think about In the Beginning and Genesis, and wait till you hear his path to actually doing this and some of what he really uncovered. I think there's parts of this that so many of us miss. So Stephen, it's great to have you on.
Thanks. Happy to be here. I'm glad you were able to arrange this.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was it that led you down this path of, I need to do this. I need to do a book on this?
Well, as I say in the beginning, who am I? I'm not really somebody who would normally do this because I'm not a religious scholar. I'm not a theologian. I'm not a minister. But I've always been interested in all these religious things going back to Sunday school. And I even stopped going to church for a long time. And even now, I go to church, but I'm not a member. I'm sort of a hanger-on. But I was always interested in religion, God, always had a great relationship with God. And I love reading the Bible. So I jump around reading different things. And you know, it's like, okay, what am I going to read next? Well, I thought, okay, let me go back to the beginning. Let's start at the beginning. It's Genesis. I know these stories. It's going to be like going back and seeing an old friend. But as soon as I started, I thought, wait a minute, did I ever read this book before? There's so much in here that I don't remember reading. And even the things that I knew about, there was all these interesting details. So it's like, people don't know this. People need to find out. Somebody needs to tell people that they need to go back and look at it. And I could be a guide. I'll show them where these things are. I'll tell them about them. They're like, don't forget to look at this. So I had this, like my mind caught on fire. It's like, oh my God, I got to tell people. But, well, you know, you're still living. You just keep on going. Started reading other things, but Genesis wouldn't let go of me. And the whole idea that people need to know this. People need to see all the interesting things. And part of what's so nice about it is, if you're looking for saints, if you're looking for virtue, you're not going to find it because the people are so contemporary. It could have been, there are people like today. All these people is like, oh my God, that guy did that. What was he thinking? So you know, I've been thinking about this for a long time. And what would happen is it would keep me up at night. I would think, oh, I'd start thinking about, oh, I can talk about this. Oh, wait a minute, I want to talk about this other thing. Oh yeah, there's this insight I want to tell people about. This happened all the time. So I started reading in 2013, 12, 13. All these years I've been thinking about it. So in 2021, once again, I'm up until 4 a.m. thinking about it. So I got up the next day and said, that's it. I'm sick and tired of having inability to sleep because of this. I'm going to sit down and write down what I want. And I thought, oh, writing a book. Well, is that possible? Will I live to see it? Would I ever finish it? So I had to start. So first you got to assemble a process. So I figured out, where will I write it? I had to fix up my computer because it wasn't fixed for Office. I wanted to get a keyboard because I can't type on a laptop because your fingers hit multiple keys. I had to get an external drive so I wouldn't lose what I wrote. I knew people that actually had that happen. So I set all this up. I figured out a plan. And so I started. I started in June of 2021. And to my surprise, by November of 2021, I'd finished all 22 chapters, just like that. Wow. Amazing. Yeah, amazing.
Wow, I love the way you paint the picture of the book because that's exactly what it is. They could be contemporary the way that you've
Yes.
presented it, and which is exciting. You can hear that in your voice, and it is exciting the way you write. But which, by the way, you can get the book on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever great books are sold. And
Yep.
so, what we're not going to tell everybody everything, but give us
Correct.
a couple of stories that just were like, wow, when you went back and looked and said, yeah, these were ordinary people.
Well, I'll give you a couple details. So I'm reading along. I'm toward the end of Abraham. Let's see, how's it go? Oh yeah, so I'm toward the end of Abraham. He's just sent out a servant to arrange a marriage for Isaac. So that happens, and then the next thing we find out, Abraham took a second wife, and had 6 sons by her. I'm like, wow, when were people going to tell me that? He had another wife after Sarah dies? And then he dies. Abraham dies. And just a simple sentence that said, Abraham died and Isaac and Ishmael attended to his burial. I'm like, Ishmael, how did he come back? He's been gone since he was like 14. How could he possibly be coming back? The only answer is, guess what? Abraham never forgot him. They stayed in touch all these years. And here he is, he's back. And apparently he and Isaac are getting along. It's like, wow.
Yeah, because you never hear that. You don't hear that. So
No.
you dug that up. You took a shovel and you dug that up, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying.
Ishmael's back in the story. And then we get Ishmael's heritage. Right after that, there's, he has 12 sons, just like Jacob has 12 sons by these different women. It's pretty cool.
Wow, yeah, no kidding, right? And so after doing this, and like you said, you were just on fire. I love the way you laid that out, how you had to do all these little things, which is true.
Yes.
That's the human
Yes.
nature of it, right? We have obstacles, you have the idea, and then finally, it's interesting that finally when you go to do it, boom, it just pops out of you. And it had to feel really good to put this out in the world. Does it feel good to you to have this story this way out there?
Yeah, it's really incredible. And so when I sat down to figure it out, I kind of sketched out, I had it in mind 2 parts, because it fits neatly. From the beginning to the end of Abraham is about half of Genesis, and then Jacob to the end is about half. So it made sense to cut it in half. And it just worked out that each half was 11 chapters, 22 chapters, 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet. Psalm 119 has 22 parts. So it has a kind of symmetry to it that I like. Not that it was necessarily planned, it just sort of worked out that way.
Right. So when people read this, and in the beginning, in consideration of Genesis, what do you hope that they take away from reading your book?
Well, what I want them to do is get excited. I think they should get excited about how you don't have to be perfect to have a relationship with God. God doesn't expect you to be perfect. You get to live your human life, but you can do it with God. And if God can find a way with these people, he certainly can find a way with us. And it's a great story, and I'm hoping people go back. And I just heard recently my grandson David, who wanted to get the book, is starting to read it, and he's going back to Genesis. I think it's so cool.
Right, because
he's going to go back and check it out for himself.
Yeah, he's seeing it as the story, right? He's seeing it as the story, not, well, hey, we know the verses, we know what the loosely you learn that in, let's say, school or Bible school, or as you're saying, different churches and different angles of the pastors.
Yes.
But you really, I think you hit it on the nail. You hit the nail on the head. You've fleshed out the humanness. These were people,
yes.
right?
But the big thing is, and I talk about it in the introduction, it's really, if you had to summarize the whole Bible in a sentence, it's basically the relationship of the one true God with humans, and how some people can hold on to it and some people can't. And that goes through the whole Bible. We've lost it. Now we're looking at idols. We're marrying these women and they're leading us astray. But in the beginning, this is where we started. This is where we started. This is where that relationship starts. And you see how it's important, but it's easily lost.
Yes, easily lost, but you gave us the roadmap so we don't have to.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you look at the people that held it on, especially Abraham. Abraham's still our guiding light. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The greatness of what that relationship can look like, you can see it. I mean, when I get to Abraham, it's the account of Abraham. It starts out, God said to Abraham. Well, that's how the whole thing goes. God and Abraham talking constantly. God said to Abraham.
Yeah, exactly. And then said this. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. When you go back and you look, there's no question. Well, you've just written a brilliant book. You really have, because I couldn't find anything like it out there. You know, there's obviously different books and pulling apart different things from the Bible, but nothing like what you've written. And so I think
that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing like it. It's hard to market it. Like, well, where does it fit? Well, it doesn't really fit anywhere. It's kind of unique.
Right, which is, I think, the good thing, actually. So
well, yeah, I do too, but
yeah, exactly. Go and grab it, and you will it'll just bring you right back, and it'll fill in so many blanks, I think, for you, and make you feel more connected. That's the feeling I got. I felt more connected. Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to look at is there's things that have always bothered me in Genesis, and it's one of the 12 things, the first chapter is the 12 things you need to know when reading it. One of them is that God doesn't always look all that good. I mean, you look at the creation. Okay, God put this whole thing for man to use. Oh, wait a minute, there's one exception. You can't do anything about that tree of knowledge. Why would God do that? And then it's like, oh, that's the downfall of man because he happened to eat it? Oh, excuse me, eat is the origin of sin? Really? God specifically put Eve there as a companion.
Right.
She's doing what she was supposed to do.
Right.
You know, she thought this was a good idea. Hello, you should try it.
Right.
Why is this a bad thing?
Yeah. Yes.
Why are women why are they being put down? And I talk about Lilith, who is this sort of creation, because there's these two ways of how man and women were created. First, they were just created. And then there's this thing where it's interesting detail. God thinks Adam needs a companion, so he takes all the creations, all the pieces of creation, he puts them there, and Adam tries them out. None of them are worth anything. So he puts Adam to sleep, and he takes out the rib, and he makes Eve. Well, some people think, well, this first creation story, that was another woman. It wasn't Eve. It was this creation some people made up of Lilith. And there's this whole story about Lilith, how she was tremendously independent. She wouldn't be subservient to Adam. And so Adam complained to God and he kicked her out. And then she became a demon. It's like, well, it's the whole same thing. She's flawed and Eve's flawed. Very patriarchal look at what women are. It's like, let's get rid of all that stuff. Let's get rid of all that stuff.
Right. Boy, you nailed it.
And the worst one is the whole idea, oh, let's sacrifice our son to prove that we have faith. Oh, really? Really? God would really do that? Not my God. My God wouldn't do that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so turning around what you read, for sure. Stephen D. Sears, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.